Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Reggaeton. A quick disclosure, if it sounds like I start yelling at you in the middle of the episode, just know that it's not me yelling at you. I'm having microphone issues. It's like the gain wants to keep spiking for no reason. I've had to have it already. It looks like it's holding steady at the moment. Alright, let's go recruit our next companion. The pale figure with unnaturally long limbs covers her face with her hands, which are deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet, misted eyes. Her spiny gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously at your approach. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament. When your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. You're enveloped in despairing grief, and an invisible hand closes around your throat, cutting off your breath. Your limb seems to fill with lead, your heart hammers in your chest, and the desire to turn and flee, from this room, from this station, almost gets the better of you. At the last moment, you master your emotions, and your will pushes back against the illusion, forcing it to retreat. Deer emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, ow, ow. As if my own little pals weren't bad enough, now this one's barging into my head. Somebody stop her. Heresy. Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head, and her white hair veils her face. Abelard, is this? Lady Cassia, I presume. The Seneschal stares in the Lady Navigator's direction with a faraway look, then turns sharply away and awkwardly wipes at his eye. Overcome the crushing despair. I know why I am here, and so I'll stand strong against any illusion. You direct all your attention inward, to your heart, currently shackled by another's suffering. Under the gaze of your burning inner eye, the despair and pain begin to dwindle. The darkness in your soul dissipates, the lump in your throat shrinks, and you discover that you're standing in front of a bizarre creature, a young woman whose tears you seem to have dried along with your own. She rarely shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and the howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers dead already? And you? Who are you? Donnie Dawson von Valancius. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Unease settles over her features as she nods cautiously. A part of my manners, Donnie Dawson. I did not expect to make such a gracious acquaintance at such a time of great sorrow for our house. What is this? I feel faint. The heavy-set old man, who has been kneeling nearby, erupts into low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room, as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child. Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child. Throne preserve. Despite his venerable age, the Navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You. The old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with jet-black veins, and his bulging, milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. My eyes fail me, but they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I'm warning you. One wrong move will bring the wrath of House Orsellio down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain. This one's so deranged, it's making the Whisper shriek like crazy. You might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed whoever you are. Abelard places a hand on his weapon. I mean you no harm. I came to seek the Navigator's aid. I'll grant that you do not look like pirates, who have come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels in phallic service. So who are you? Abelard, introduce us. His lordship, rogue trader Donnie Dawson von Valancius, heir to the greatest protectorate in the Coronis Expanse, and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, extends his greetings. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy. How interesting. Your kind always make an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful. And so House Orsellio now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer. Think on it. You make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. You decide. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Theobald frowns. Curse. You do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orsellio. And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft, Dira mutters under her breath. You look frightening. The fish eyes look at you with unwavering dignity. You are not supposed to see me, or Felix, or the sacred child. Navigators are highly paid for their loyal service to the Imperium, according to his will. No one would dare judge the guides of humanity, the chosen of the galactic sovereign himself. What service do you ask of me? Hope glimmers in the Navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child. Take her away from this station. I fear I do not have long left. A bluish rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Aranto, acting head of House Orsellio in the Coronis Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for a navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservations about this girl. Argento looks at Cassia, and a painful furrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing, with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You're talking as though you expect to die here. Theobald shrugs indifferently. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felix inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne, solely enough to see that the child is taken care of. You need help. There's a Medicae deck on my ship. But Theobald only shakes his head. No. I'm the keeper of Yurok 5, and I'll perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. I want to know what happened between you and Felix. Felix is my wayward student. He came to Yurok 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him, and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child. To revel in power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss. To pervert the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our innovators, Tiffany Orsellio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. A novator, a patriarch or matriarch that rules over a Navigator house, the figurative and often biological father or mother of the dynasty. Foolish boy. The renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the novator's throne. Felix accused you of treachery, Theobald. Why should I trust your words? Defending myself before strangers. I never thought I would fall so low. The old man looks at the unmoving Cassia and shakes his head in resignation. If the child's life were not at stake, very well, I have no choice. More proof of my innocence. I can give you my word as a member of the Navis Nobilite, if the honest word of an honorable man counts for anything with you. I guarded the station against calamity and incursions from without to the best of my ability. I forced the wardens to strictly observe security protocols. I personally selected every servant, and I faithfully protected the child during the coup. How could you lose control of your own station? Do not thrust my errors in my face. I'm twice your age and twice as wise. Take my advice. Trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or a far-fetched idea of a bright future. I believe I have made my decision. Is that so? Please share your thoughts. Cassia shall come with me. Good. That is good. The young man nervously licks his lips. But do allow us to say our proper farewells.
Wake up, my mistress, my sacred child. It is all over now. It is over.
Debo coughs up more bluish blood. It stains the armor plate on his chest, but he remains standing.
What happened? You. I remember you. Have you come to save us?
You feel the crimson eyes roving over your face.
Child, please, listen to me very carefully. One last time. You will now embark on a voyage with this lord to rejoin the house and its regent in the Corollas expanse. I will not be able to accompany you on this journey.
The old man bends over in pain and wheezes hoarsely. Another trickle of blue blood runs down the old man's face, this time from his nose and ear.
No, not you too. Don't leave me alone in this violet-brown haze. You're coming with me. Your mistress is giving you an order. Do you hear me?
A hot wave of despair that is not yours washes over you. Your palms sweat, and your heart freezes in panic.
Mistress, I fear this will be your only order that I dare to disobey. I am the keeper of Urac 5, and alas, I have less than a day left in me. Allow me to serve you one last time and honor my final duty to House Orsellio. I will remain on the station and destroy the secrets it holds.
Oh, Theobald.
The crimson tears stain the Lady Navigator's white skin once again. This time her power does not make everyone weep along with her. I forgive the urgency, but we should leave the station immediately. The systems are unstable and may fail at any moment.
But this is my home.
Cassia hesitates, searching for the right word.
Please, child, do not be stubborn. Remember your duty to the house, and let those thoughts bring you strength.
What are you going to do to me?
Lady Cassia, I, Donnie Dawson von Valancius, rogue trader of the Imperium of Man, offer you my protection and grant you shelter aboard my vessel.
Do not fear what is to come, child. You are ready to guide any vessel. I know this because I taught you myself. And it is difficult to imagine more worthy company than a rogue trader. But remember, your safety is of paramount importance. Get to the Great Regent and fulfill your destiny.
Theobald Orsellio nods slowly.
I beg your pardon, but what about my servants? Yurak 5 is still full of people loyal to House Orsellio.
All who can be saved will be given succor on board my ship. The Lady Navigator ponders your words for a short while.
As a Lady Navigator of House Orsellio, I accept your gracious offer of protection. Please, take me to your vessel. I can no longer bear the pain of this place.
Alright, got ourselves a new companion. It is as if the painting was rendered by several different hands. The timid, uncertain lines are interlaced with rough and furious strokes, coming together in arcane shapes. When no one appears to be living in the cage, somebody still filled the trough with dried fruit and fresh water. The child's safety is paramount. Glory to House Orsellio. Goodbye, mistress.
Is there money to be made?
The Lady Navigator's private library is brimming with essays, novels, and personal accounts from the trailblazers and explorers of the Imperium. The luxurious feast was left untouched.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Let me level up real quick. So she is an officer. Let's actually... Oops. Yeah, let's cancel out of this. She is dogmatic. So she has voice of command. The officer forces an ally to fully push themselves, increasing their characteristics by 14 for 1 round. Additionally, all the officer's abilities can be applied to the target of voice of command from any distance. A character becomes a target of voice of command cannot be targeted by this ability again for the next 2 rounds. Bring it down. The officer immediately grants an ally an extra turn with 2 AP and no MP. This ally is under the effect of voice of command and kills an enemy before the end of the officer's turn. The ally gains a 1-time additional +8 momentum. This ability cannot be used on the same ally more than once per round. Finest Hour. The officer grants an ally an extra turn with full AP and MP. During the extra turn, there is no attack limit. And then Desperate Measure version of it. So until the end of combat, the officer's fellowship is halved. In Lidless Stare. All creatures in a cone in front of the Navigator suffer from 11 to 14 damage. The affected targets must also pass a +30 bonus willpower resistance test, or become stunned for 1 turn. So really her Navigator powers are probably the best to invest into because they are extremely powerful. Alright, so Officer. Officers use their willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of their allies, turning them to even greater threats on the battlefield. Core focus, extra turns, single target buffs, rescuing allies, and momentum. And Inspire Courage. Whenever the officer targets an ally with an ability for the first time in a round, that ally gains +5 temporary wounds. So, Unknown Origin Homeworld, data deleted, classified, missing, which we discover that later. And she's a Navigator, which has no description. Spin around. So by the end of Swing Run, the flagship can choose its position out of 3 directions instead of taking the opposite one. A Leaking Aether. Enemy void ships suffer from 25 to 35% of their maximum hull integrity warp damage when being jumped through using Shallow Jump. And Determined Scan. During Vulnerability Scan, the weak point never appears at the opposite side of the enemy void ship. Also, there's an additional +5% bonus to damage dealt to the scan weak point. Alright, so she has Voice of Command, a Persuasion, Bring It Down, Finest Hour, Inspire Courage. Alright, then here we want Willpower, I believe. A Fellowship is better for the Officer class, but I think Willpower boosts her Navigator abilities. And a common talent. A Mind Over Matter is pretty good as well. A lot of good choices. I'm not actually sure what's best to take first. How does this, so persuasion bonus affects that. Might go with Ebb and Flow. Again, action economy is extremely powerful, so more action points is great. So every even turn, second, fourth, etc., the Navigator gains an additional action point. Every odd turn, first, third, etc., the Navigator gains plus 20 perception. I don't know that she needs perception. Actually, I have to look at her Leadless Stare, see what it scales with. It is willpower. Or we could do this. I mean, really, all of this is great. Or we could do a natural allure, because that'll also scale up her officer abilities with the Fellowship. This might be worth it too early on, but I think it's more important to get this first for more toughness. Yeah, let's go and do this. Well, no, we're not ready to spam extra turns yet. I don't know what to take. We'll go with this. Ebb and Flow. That's fine. Then here's a bunch of officer abilities. There's some really good ones here. I do Blood Augury. So enemies damaged by the Navigator suffer plus 10% additional damage from any source of warp damage. Bonus damage stacks for each hit inflicted by the Navigator. This effect stacks up to 5 times. And she does warp damage, so you're just scaling her own warp damage. I'll also take willpower here. I don't know if she has anything unique on her person. Armored Body Glove. Staff of House Orsellio is not unique, but it does grant plus 5 willpower and perception. She has a fire grenade for some reason. Get rid of that. Alright, let's get out of here.
Let us not dawdle.
Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis, or Novice, has been prepared for the communion ritual, but the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first. Your heart starts beating furiously, your breath comes short and choppy, your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Victus is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. You decide not to make use of the charm that could inhibit Cassia Orsellio's powers. Didn't even know we had a choice. I think that's, Felic probably gives that to us. Without even looking at the Voxmaster, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you're ready for the ritual, please let me know. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Victus, then lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. What did you wish to speak about? After a few seconds' hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale, and then raises her pointed chin. I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped. You acted honorably, and did not exploit me in my wretched position. And for that, I'm immeasurably grateful. He convinced Cassia Orsellio to depart Urac 5 of her own free will. I'm also deeply grateful that you saved my servants, especially my valet. Uwe served on the station for more than 5 years, much longer than any who preceded him. He knows how to properly attend to me during journeys to the Immaterium, what to serve me for breakfast. His presence envelops me in a cloak of amber. You save Cassia Orsellio's servants. But now, Cassia throws back her shoulders. I'm ready to go to the Sanctum Novice and can perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board. But no red. Why are you asking for these items? Now is not the time to indulge in painting. You're asking questions the answers to which you cannot comprehend. Perhaps I may explain it all to you at a later time, but now our time is too precious to waste. As a navigator of House Orsellio, I give you my word that without canvas and paint, we have little hope of a smooth journey through the warp. I have no reason to lie. Tell me more about what the ritual entails. I doubt the uninitiated can understand the mysteries of navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship, so that I become one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Orsellio ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind of all errant thoughts. And then it is time to open my third eye, and peer to the depths of the warp itself. Among the nightmarish visions, mirages, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will lead me from star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread, so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. Cassia unfurls her hand as though dropping something. But you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Orsellio never lose their course. Why do you refuse red paint? Cassia gestures toward the servant standing beside her. Uwe will give of his blood before the ritual, as always. I shall ensure that all the necessary supplies are delivered to the Sanctum Novice. It should be Navis, because like Navigator, Navis. Cassia nods and thanks. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. You can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is opened. Lord Captain, I ever see the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge. May the Emperor's light help us all. The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up the susurration of clothes, pious chanting, the metallic clicking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence, initiating communion ritual. Come here, Uwe. The exultant ring of metal freed from its scabbard, the low sob of the servant, the rhythmic drip of liquid on canvas, the faint whisper of the brush. Go. Footsteps hurrying away. I see violet vortexes lashing an ocean with a million flails, an umber shadow spinning over the surface in a fiery dance. A storm rising above foaming waters, armadas drowning in fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter forsaken by her father yearns for her brother. The sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. The Voxmaster recoils at Cassia's words, and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks. The Voxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I've never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. Connection is restored now. It will not happen again. Cassia, are you alright in there? Soul-shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servants in the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain. Their throats raw from the strain. And then, sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for her predecessor. I'll arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness is spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around. My brush only draws me onward. The way is blocked. Hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely, even for a second. It was as if the depths of this ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chambers to recover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. At least spare me a few moments of your time, as there are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I wish to report on the condition of the station Urok 5. Had you opted to begin your visit to the Rycat system with a different destination, the station could have become critically unstable. Fortunately, the decision to immediately visit the representatives of the Navis Nobilite bought us precious time. We can either focus our efforts on disassembling the station and procuring technological components for our own vessel, or attempt to save as many valuables as we can. I loot everything, from jewelry to the very last manuscript. As you command, Lord Captain. With your permission, I'd also like to remind you that we are still looking for an Engineer Prime. Both the vessel and its machine spirits are in desperate need of oversight by an experienced tech priest. We're also missing some crew, and much more importantly, we have not yet located Heinrich van Calix, the right hand of the Lord Inquisitor. Now we know for certain he was not at Urok 5. We should keep this in mind when making any future plans. Why is it always business with you, Victus? Couldn't you sometimes just visit, tell me how wonderful everything is? Certainly, Lord Captain. If you're interested, this week passed with a record low rate of minor disturbances on the lower decks. A senior technomat from Shift 8 came up with a new formula for a lubricant used in kitchen servitor implant maintenance. The Quartermaster of Store Compartment 11 reported recently that we're spending ceremonial decorations at least 20% slower than expected, which means we have enough tablecloths, carpets, and lamps to last us 15 years of grand receptions instead of 10, even considering that some of the stock was burned during the cultist attack on the vessel. Thank you, Victus. This will be all for now. As it pleases you, Lord Captain. Alright, next stop. The prison planetoid, that we will also speak to Lady Cassia. Lord Captain, there's some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where the uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what has brought Cassia to the deck.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
The Lady Navigator is engrossed in perusing the dusty tomes, which appear to have been neglected by the other officers, be it because of sloth or dullness of mind. When you walk closer, Cassia looks up at you, starts, and has a weathered book behind her back. It pleases me to see you're adjusting to life aboard the ship.
Compared to Owlcat 5, your ship is a boundless world of unfamiliar hues. And yet, the abundance of bright colors can at times be wearisome on the eyes. The bridge and the decks are so clamorous. In my search for a place of quiet, I was fortunate to come upon this islet of serenity filled with rare tomes and practically devoid of color.
The events that took place on Owlcat 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orsellio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Cassie's response is reserved and pointedly decorous, fully intended to create a distance between you. Your only attendant is your valet from Owlcat 5. Do my servants not measure up to your standards?
No, it is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
She nods genially to her taciturn servant. Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then artfully hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The natural appearance of navigators often becomes a topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising, then, that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks. After you've had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting.
Cassie tosses her head back and straightens. Alright, let's change the subject. Point at the book in Cassia's hands. I see you're fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing.
Cassia carefully shows you the book, which turns out to be a collection of works by the Cadian naval commander and poet Alias Quent.
Owlcat 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Cassia gently brushes the dust off the cover with her thin, clawed hand, her eyes filled with longing after reminiscing about her lost home.
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I.
After an awkward silence, Cassia frowns and purses her lips.
I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
Frightened by her own words, Cassie covers her mouth, pales, blushes, then pales again, and hides her face behind the cascade of her snow-white hair. Quite right. Well, yeah, quite right. So I'd ask that you mind what you say from now on.
Yes, I understand. I offer you my apologies once more.
Cassie covers her burning face and swiftly exits the room. Alright, let's get back to the deck, or the bridge. Alright, well I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll speak to Cassia, then we'll go to the next planet in the system, and begin exploring the prison planetoid. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.